Hey guys, my name is Charlie and welcome to 1000 Sunny Days. In this video, I'm really excited to share with you my 2024 One Piece collection. I started One Piece in 2011 and I really just ended up falling in love with the characters and the story, and it really just ended up meaning more to me than any other story that I really read. I feel so lucky to be in this generation where I can still read and watch One Piece every week and get something new. I did the majority of my collecting back in 2011 to 2013, which is where the majority of my collection really comes from. If you ask me how I would describe my collecting style, I would have to say that it is really intentional. It's never been my goal to own every single figure out there and just to collect everything, but it's really to make sure that everything I do own and buy, I know how to display it really beautifully and give it the space that it deserves, like displaying everything with a lot of intention and purpose. Most of my collection sits on the 3 shelves that are behind me. Now these are the IKEA Billy bookcases in the color Birch Veneer, which I recently discovered was discontinued this year by IKEA. I'm not sure the exact reason why, but it seems like they are putting out a new birch imitation version that is going to be coming out soon. I'm not exactly sure what the name is going to be called because I did just go on the German IKEA website and then Google translated everything to English. But if you are looking for shelves like this from IKEA, then I think you'll just have to wait until it comes out in your area. And as the space functions as both my work from home office and my art room, my hobby room, I just really wanted furniture that would bring in a lot of warmth and color so that it can make me feel creative. When I was first designing this room, I really considered putting 3 of the full height Billy bookcases behind me, but then I was worried that it would just feel very heavy in this room, so I opted for a half-size IKEA Billy bookshelf in the middle between the 2 larger shelves, and I really just love the symmetry that it ended up creating. And as someone who works as a product designer, I really love being able to incorporate these design principles into my space and how I display my items. The leftmost shelf holds all of my One Piece manga, as well as some figures and art books. One of my favorite things about the One Piece manga are the similarities between volumes 1 and volume 61. So I chose to display them separately from the rest of the manga, and I really just love the clean look that it gives to this display. For the rest of the manga, I did my best to organize them by arc on each shelf. And in the empty spaces, I added the corresponding art book. These are the One Piece compendiums. In Japan, there are currently 9 color walks released, each containing art that Oda has drawn for One Piece, like color spreads, Shonen Jump covers, movie promos, and also interviews and sketches. These used to be released in English up to volume 2, which I do have, but they ended up discontinuing that. Now instead of the 9 color walks, they were combined into 3 compendiums, 3 art books into 1. I really love flipping through these art books and seeing how the art progresses with the story. I think as an artist myself, whenever I'm in a creative rut, I love flipping through art books because then I can really see how Oda puts all this thought and care into all of his characters, into their expressions, into their outfits, and I feel like it's just really inspiring for me. I think my favorite part of these compendiums though is just seeing these early character designs and concepts, because it's a little peek into what Oda puts into his characters. Since these compendiums are a bit bigger than the manga, I really love how the IKEA Billy bookshelves are modular, so they allow me to easily adjust the height of each shelf so that I can fit the compendiums with them. And here's also where the idea of balance and symmetry really come into play with my display. There's the 2 manga covers of volume 1 and volume 61 on display at opposite ends of the bookcase, and then there are 2 compendiums at either side of their respective shelf, and these are all creating these visual points of interest, and your eyes can kind of just bounce back and forth from opposite direction up and down to really create something visually appealing. On the topmost shelf, I like to display my chibi arts of Luffy and Nami. These were both created by Bandai, and I have the original boxes that they came in. I love keeping my boxes. You're going to see a lot of boxes in this video. They're about 10 centimeters tall and come with interchangeable parts and poses. I didn't really like the stand that they came with, so they are propped up by leaning against the manga spine behind them. On the next shelf below them are my straw hat umbrella blind boxes. These designs were inspired from an early color spread drawn by Oda. All the straw hats are so cute with their custom umbrellas. I like to put the East Blue crew on the shelf and then the Grand Line crew on the top of the manga. On the shelf, I had a lot of room, so I displayed some of my favorite figures. These are my ASL, Ace, Sabo, and Luffy figures from the Portrait of Pirates Mild line by Manga House. I really love Manga House figures for the size they are, the colors that they use, and also I feel like they capture the expressions of the characters really well. So you're going to see a lot of the figures in my collection are by Manga House. The Ace and Luffy figures came in one box together, while Sabo came separately, and I had these figures pre-ordered in 2011. My favorite way to display them is with their sake cups, but they do come with a pipe and additional expressions and parts, so you can display them in different ways. With the middle shelf behind me being the shortest, I knew I definitely wanted something to put on top. And a couple years ago, I got this 1,000 piece mosaic puzzle of Luffy's first bounty poster. In each piece, there are about 6 screen caps from the anime pre-time skip, and they come together to make his first bounty poster photo, and I absolutely love it, and I know you guys love it too. I think the puzzle is the thing that I get the most comments about on Instagram and on TikTok, so if you're interested, I do have a link to the puzzles in my description. After completing the puzzle, I framed it so it could be displayed, and I really just love the dynamic and interesting background that it gives my model ships. Another question that I get asked a lot on my Instagram or on my TikTok is where did I get my model ships, especially my Going Merry. This was originally released by Bandai in 2012, and I was lucky enough to get a first edition, which also came with this inflatable octopus that the Straw Hats used to descend from Skypia. This Merry figure is quite special to me. While you do put it together and there are a lot of parts that you can use to customize it, I'm not really sure if I would consider it to be a model kit completely, as there isn't really anything that needs to be painted or there are any stickers for you to add. This Merry figure also comes with smaller figures of the Straw Hats and Merry's Spirit. If you want a deeper dive into this figure and all of the customizations, just let me know in the comments below. Beside that, I added my model kit of the Thousand Sunny. Now this is a true model kit and it was so fun to put together, and one day I really hope to add some paint to it to make this model kit shine. Both of these model ships are about 30 centimeters tall. Inside the shelf, I displayed my One Piece manga box set that contains volume 71 to 90, and I chose to display the side with the Dressrosa art. I really love the box set art because it's just so easy to display. If you're feeling like your collection is a bit too cluttered, or if even your collection has a lot of white space and your shelves are kind of empty, it's so easy to just take up that space with the box set because it looks so nice and it's just so easy to display. That's why I'm waiting for the next box set to come out, because that one should have Wano, and I just love the art of Wano, so I'm really excited to own it one day. Beside my box set are my Ace and Luffy figures from the Portrait of Pirates Neo DX line by Mega House again. This is Luffy in his Marineford outfit, and it just pairs so nicely with my Ace figure as they were both released around the same time. And by collecting and displaying figures that come from the same line together, it just makes your collection look a lot more cohesive and have a lot more unity in a really easy way. Because if they're from the same line, then they'll be at the same scale and their bases are going to be similar as well. I realize that bases are really important, and also another reason why I love the Mega House line so much, because the bases in Mega House are different colors. It just looks so much better and like part of the display instead of just being like kind of like a flat black, and it makes your display look very bottom heavy. And I really like to display my figures with a happy or smiling, or if they're like not really the type to smile or anything, then like their most neutral expression, because that's just how I like to see them. Okay, one of my favorite things that have come out from Mega House are their Nyan Project line. The Nyan Project line from One Piece is where One Piece characters get transformed into a smaller cat form, and they are so cute and so quality, and I just love having them spread out throughout my collection. I'm definitely the target audience for this. Mega House got it so right with me on this, and I feel like it was just a really smart thing for them to release, because you get the quality of Mega House, but you also get like the cuteness. It's kind of for the girls, and they're at a much lower price point than the Portrait of Pirates line, and they also get restocked quite frequently. I would say almost every quarter these get restocked, so it just makes it a lot more accessible for One Piece fans, especially us overseas fans, to get figures. I have a few of these cats scattered throughout my collection, but here are Rob Lucci and Crocodile. Underneath that is my Dragon Ball manga collection, and this was the series that really started it all for me. So you are gonna see a bit of my Dragon Ball collection in this One Piece tour, and since I tend to read most of my manga online now on my iPad, A lot of this is actually still sealed, and for me, I really just love seeing all of the characters on the spine. So to end off the shelf, I really started healing my inner child this year by collecting trading cards. It started with Pokemon 151 and then continued onto One Piece, where I got my first Ultra deck. On my rightmost shelf, this is where I have the majority of my figures that I like to display. So at the top, I chose to display my Whitebeard and Marco figures. I can never imagine separating these two. I love how Whitebeard is just so big. He's the biggest figure that I have in my collection currently, and I love Marco's figure because of those beautiful blue flames. So with Whitebeard, he does come with his weapon. However, the feeling of having him like raising his weapon behind me, like while I'm working at my desk right behind you guys right now, it just like makes me feel very uncomfortable. So often I just take off the blade at the top and then I just like put it down and have him hold up the rest of his weapon. I have my third and latest One Piece compendium here as well, and then I also have a smaller model ship of the Moby Dick. This shelf is complete with a couple more of my Ace figures, including my Ace Chibi art and this unopened Figure Art Zero battle version of Ace. I pre-ordered this back in 2012 because I thought I was going to collect all of the battle versions, but I ended up not doing that and I just never opened it. And I love my Mega House figures, but I think this is actually my favorite Ace figure that I own because it just looks so much like them. Modular shelves are a great way to display smaller figures without making the space feel empty. So I have my Mega Cat Luffy and my Mega Cat Law. These are both from Wano and they're about 12 centimeters tall. These are also one of the newest figures that I have added to my collection this year. If you are interested, I do have a link in my bio. These are available and you can just pick them up. They're really easy, really great quality, and they're just so adorable. I think they would also look really nice like on your desk or something as a little like desk companion too. And then flanking them on either side, I have the smaller cats. So I have Smoker, Doflamingo, Shanks, and Kid. Now in the middle shelf, this is where I have all of my Straw Hat figures from Mega House. And I love how each of them has a very distinct color. And also like you can see from the base, like it just makes it look more colorful, more outstanding. And the base is really important, I think, when you're looking at figures. It just ties everything together. And because all of these figures do come from the same Sailing Again line, they just really balance each other out. Unfortunately, I am missing Frankie and Jinbei because these came out around 2011 and I just wasn't able to pick them up, but I am on the lookout. If ever those figures get released, I am pre-ordering them without a second thought. Behind them, I have a mini poster of a color spread that was drawn by Oda. I think this came with box set 4, but this mini poster is dual-sided, so you can really choose to display it however you want to. And then I also displayed one of my One Piece cards as my Luffy leader card on a wooden display that I made myself through my little woodworking hobby. There are some figures that I haven't had the heart to unbox yet, and these are two characters that I always look forward to seeing, Sabo and Law. This is a limited edition of Sabo with the Flame Fruit from Mega House's Portrait of Pirates line. Underneath it is another Mega House Portrait of Pirates figure, and this is of Law in his Wano outfit, and I'm really excited to unbox these in the future on my channel. The shelf is complete with a plant and some of my art books, including Dragon Ball: A Visual History, visual novel art books of some games that I played, my Color Walk 2, Fire Emblem Awakening, and a small binder of some of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I really love the covers of my art books, so I definitely want to display them in a better way in the future. I think it's always a lot of fun rearranging my collection and just finding new ways of displaying my items, and I feel like doing that is also a good way to keep you from just impulsively buying things. By rearranging your figures and like just finding new ways of displaying them, you can be a lot more intentional and just have a lot more appreciation for what you already own. One of my favorite hobbies is gaming, so I do own the physical copies of some of my favorite games. Now these are like Hakogi, Ace Attorney, and Fire Emblem. If you have never played Fire Emblem Awakening, I just highly recommend that you give it a shot. I'm actually kind of jealous that you have a brain that has never played Fire Emblem Awakening, because I wish I could just like erase my memory so I can play it again. Also, this is a shelf that I use a lot for storage, and I've added a model ship of Shanks' ship, the Red Force, here too. Finally, let's talk about my reading chair. So this is a sofa, reading chair, love seat, whatever you want to call it. For me, as the youngest child of immigrant parents, a lot of the things that I had growing up were hand-me-downs, or if it was something new, it would be something that both my brother and I could enjoy. So when I first moved into the space, one of my biggest goals ever was to own a pink couch, and I finally got it with this reading chair. I love the color, the size, and I sit here so often, every day, drawing from my art shop, playing on my Switch, reading, anything. Like, I love this chair so much. This is originally from Structube, a Canadian furniture company, and it was called the Cuddles reading chair. It's really unfortunate, but they're no longer selling it, and it's just so sad because it's like the perfect size for smaller spaces. It really gives cozy without completely swallowing up the room. And on it, I also have my knitted blanket, which I got from Amazon. Whenever I look at this collection, I really am just filled with so much love for this journey that we've been on in One Piece. And I think for me, that's what it really means to be a cozy collector. Just loving the collection that you have now and really appreciating the joy each item gives you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed going through my 2024 One Piece collection. As this collection grows, I really hope to continue sharing it with you guys on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I think you guys can see, even from me just sitting here talking about my collection, there are already a few little small changes that I've made to my display, and I'm just so excited to continue sharing this with you guys in upcoming videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Wishing you 1,000 sunny days, and I will see you in the next video.